What up? Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's tutorial is this look right here. So I am using the Makeup by Gerard Clientele palette for this look here. You guys requested that I did a look with this when I posted the photo of this on my Instagram. So I decided to do a look and this is what I created. And then, yeah. I think that's pretty much it. But yeah, so if you want to see how I achieve this look using this palette, then keep on watching. Alright, now the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to prep my skin and I'm going to use a toner first. So I'm going to grab the Kiehl's Ultra Facial Oil Free Toner. I remember getting a sample of this years ago and I remember being obsessed with it. So I had to grab it again and just see if it's still as good. And I've only used it a couple of times so far and I've been loving it. So far so good. We'll see how we go. So I'm just going to keep trialing it out and see how I like it. Pop it on a cotton pad and I'm just going to do little circular motions around my face. This will help get rid of any excess oil and just really prep my skin for any makeup. And now for moisturizer, I'm going to pop my Tatcha Water Cream Moisturizer on. You guys know this has been a ride or die for me for a very long time, so I'm still obsessed with this. And I've got two sitting in my little skincare fridge right now, like legit. So just massaging that in. And at this point I would usually prime my skin, but the foundation I'm using actually is better without a primer. It works better with skin to skin. So I'm just going to go straight in with foundation and I am going to grab my Hourglass Vanish Foundation. This one is the liquid foundation and this one is in the shade beige. So with this one here, it works best without any primer on the skin, so just moisturize, let that sink in for a few minutes, and then go ahead with the foundation. It works better that way, I promise you. If you want, you can use a primer and you can see how you go. It might work for your skin, but they even said at Hourglass that this works best without primer. See how you go. Me being super oily, usually I'm like, oh my god, I need my primer, like, but I find it really does sit a lot better when I use it without a primer. So that is my best tip with this foundation, because I have had a lot of you say to me that, oh, I didn't like it, it just didn't sit nice, it was blah blah blah, I just wasn't a fan. And I was like, I promise you, if you try it without a primer, see how you go. If you're going to use a primer, just really let it sink in. So use this very small amount and just really warm it up in your hands, really warm it into your face, leave it for a few minutes, up to 5 if you can. If you've got the time, leave it for as long as you can, and then see how you go. And I'm going to use my Hourglass Vanish Foundation brush with this one. It works the best with that. It doesn't necessarily have to be that. I've used a beauty blender and everything, and it seems pretty fine, but I do actually really find this brush, it's probably one of my favorites. I'm not going to lie, I have about 6 of these because I use them in my kit as well. So I'm going to pop a few pumps of that on the back of my hand. And as always, it matches in with my neck, but it is always a bit dark for my face. But I always want to match with my neck and the rest of my body, otherwise I'd have a really pale face and a tan body. So you just want to start with small little parts. So I just whack a little bit on my cheek and then start blending it in. And I really like to buff this in and then build up the coverage as I go, because a little bit goes a very long way with this. Alright, now that it's blended in, it looks a little bit better. So what I'm going to do now is pop some concealer on, and I'm going to grab my Hourglass Vanish Concealer. Thought I might as well just roll with the whole Hourglass vibe. This one is in the shade Oat, and I'm just going to pop that on under my eyes. Down the bridge of my nose, my forehead, my cupid's bow, and a little bit on my chin. And I'm just going to blend that in with my beauty blender. And I'm going to set that in place with my Too Faced Born This Way translucent setting powder, and I'm going to pop that on with the Morphe E8 brush. I'm just going to pat it in. It's alright, that's the part I get the most shiny, so we'll bake the forehead today, why not? Alright, now that I've covered myself and the entire room in powder, we'll move on. Shall we? And I'm going to contour with my Anastasia Beverly Hills Powder Contour Kit. This one is, she's been through a lot. So I'm just going to mix through, like, look, there's like nothing left on that. But I am just going to mix the 3 bottom shades together with the Sigma F40 brush. So just kind of swirl around in all 3 colors and then tap off the excess. I'm going to start up here and just start gently dusting it along the outside of my forehead, along my hairline, and along the other side as well, just to give the look of a smaller forehead, or as I like to call mine, a 5 head. And then come down, frame the face. So I just follow my hairline and then instead of getting right to the top of my ear, I'm going to start bringing it down on an angle. And then I come down under the jaw to give a bit of a sculpt. And then I'll do the same with the other side. And for blush, I'm going to grab my Tarte Dazzled Blush and I'm going to pop that on with my Sigma F15 brush. Just a small amount on the top of my cheek, bringing it up towards my temple. And for highlight, I'm going to grab my Mecca Cosmetica Enlightened Highlighting Powder. This one is so beautiful. I've been obsessed with this for a while, so love it. I'm going to pop it on with my Anastasia Beverly Hills A23 brush. This one is so loved. I can feel the handle getting loose and I'm like, it's one of my favorites, so I'm really scared. I was like, don't fall off, please. Alright, so I'm just going to pop a bit of that on the tops of my cheekbones. And I'm bringing it around like a C shape and just really just softly blending it through. And I'm going to pop a little bit down the bridge of my nose. And I'll pop a little bit on the tip. And a touch on the forehead, Cupid's bow, and a little bit on the chin. Alright, and now for eyeshadow, or should I do brows? Let's do brows. I might do my brows. I'm gonna let's do something different. I'm going to use my Urban Decay Brow Blade in the shade Brunette Betty. I just combed through my brows and I am gonna use the ink stain end of the pencil. And I'm just going to draw little hairs just to give a bit more fullness and to get that really nice fuller brow. This one's quite a soft color, but I find if I use the darker one, it just looks way too intense. So I'm just doing little flicks, which you probably can barely see. Let's just bring it open. Add some to the other side. So I'm mainly doing it in this tail area because that's where mine are a bit thin. I'm just creating little hairs, and I really like that this pen gives it a really nice flick, if that makes sense. Like it's tapered. It's not just one straight line like a lot of pencils do, because pencils aren't fine enough sometimes. Some are, but then I tend to go through them way quicker when they're just a fine pencil, whereas this pen works like a dream. And then I'm just going to give them another comb through. And I'm going to get my Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Gel. This is just the clear. And I'm going to stick them up. Just going to really get them nice and stiff. And now for eyes. So I am going to grab the Be Perfect like X Makeup by Jar Makeup Artistry palette, the Clientele palette. So, and I am going to start off with the shade, I'm going to start off with the shade Peach Out, which is this one down here. And I'm going to use this as a transition shade. So I want a really nice fluffy brush. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my Smjp 228 brush and I'm going to start in the crease. I'm just building up that colour and I'm also winging it out a little bit. Sorry guys, always forget. Because my eyes are a little bit on the, I mean, they're pretty big, so they can fit one of these big fluffy brushes in there like really easily. I can get right into the corner there and flick it out when there's very little product left. So pretty much what it is, there's no product left on the brush and I'm just blending what's already there outwards, if that makes sense. And then keep building till I'm happy with it. And I'm doing the same with the other side. Alright, and next I am going to grab the shade Jar Jar up here and I'm going to use my MAC 217 brush. And I'm just going to use this to add a bit more depth to the crease. This is probably one of my favorite colors in the palette. Just sort of packed it on there, really wiping off the excess and then bringing it through the crease super gently, and then also really blending it out. You may notice that I have a tendency to almost bring it under the eye. That may not work if you have smaller eyes. You might end up feeling like you've got like all the eyeshadow down here and you don't want that. So for me, I find it is, my eyes are big enough and I really like a smoked out lower lash line. Anyone else or on clients, I will not bring it down with this brush. I'll use a separate brush later and I'll show you how I do that one. So I'm still blending, I haven't dipped back in yet. I'm really flicking it out. So what I'm doing is pretty much gently using the brush to bring that product out slightly as well. And then what I always do is go back with the first brush, no more product, just help blend everything in, make sure it's all nice and seamless, and then go in on the other eye. And the next shade that I am going to use is going to be Brownie down here in the corner. And I'm going to use my Smjp 225 brush, which is just a smaller, denser blending brush. And I'm going to darken up the crease even more, but I want it a little bit more concentrated. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut the crease a little bit. So I'm just going to do like the half crease. And I am going to use my P. Louise base in the shade Rumor. And I'm going to pop that on with my MAC 195 brush. I'm just going to pop a little bit of that on the back of my hand. So I start in the center and I pat it on like that. And then I look straight ahead and makes a little line like that. That's how high up you need to go because that's where your lid is going to sit. And then I just start patting it in. And I love this brush because it's nice and curved. It just kind of does a lot of the work for you. Just kind of patting it through. You don't want to sort of drag it. You just don't have as much control. So I'm using this like a little stamp. That's why I love the curved edge. The one thing I find about cut creases is they're like winged liner. If you go too big, you have to keep going and going and going and going and just making it even. So less is more, start small. And I'm going to, I know P. Louise doesn't necessarily set this base, but I'm gonna do it. So I'm gonna use this shade, I think it's Asha, down here on my MAC 239S brush. So I'm just going to use that to set this in place before it starts transferring and moving, which I know it's not meant to, but I just know my eyes, and if I can make it sort of, when I look up and create that line, then it's going to probably transfer. Cool. And now I'm going to do the same with the other side, just repeat everything I've just done. And I'm gonna pick up that brownie shade again on a really small little pencil brush, the Morphe E18, and just sharpen up the crease. So you I'm not putting too much in there. Alright, so now I'm going to smoke out the lower lash line. So what I'm going to do is I am just going to pick up that exact same Morphe E18 brush with that brownie shade, and I'm just going to use that to smoke out the lower lash line. And now I'm just going to do a quick wing liner with my Fenty Beauty Fly Liner. And I'm just going to grab my MAC Cosmetics Eye Kohl in the shade Smolder. And I'm going to use this to tightline. And for mascara, I'm going to grab my Benefit Roller Lash. And I'm just going to whack this on before I do lashes. Okay, so I'm gonna pop lashes on now, but I am making a separate video on how to put on false lashes. So I'm gonna put that in the description bar box, whatever. I'm gonna put it up here. I'm gonna put it everywhere so that you guys can see that. But the lashes I'm gonna pop on are the Eyelaw lashes in the shade number 175. So they're really, really beautiful, really wispy, nice and subtle, and yeah. Okay, alright, now the lashes are on and I did the tutorial on that. I'm going to pop a lipstick on. So let's see what I feel like. Alright, I'm going to start off with a lip liner, and I'm just grabbing my MAC Oak lip liner. I'm just going to draw on the outside of my lips. Give it a blend into my lips just with my finger. And then I'm gonna grab the ColourPop Lippy Sticks in the shade Skimpy and pop that in the center. And then I'm gonna top it with a gloss. So I'm gonna grab my Anastasia Beverly Hills lip gloss in the shade Undressed. I'm just gonna pop a few little bits of that in the center. I don't want to swirl it in and then it'll end up mixing all of that way too much. I want to keep that dark outline. So that is the finished look. What do we think? Do we like it? Alright, so that is the end of this video. I really hope you enjoyed watching this tutorial, and if you want to see how I put on fake lashes, I'll pop that down below as well, and I'll pop a little. But other than that, thank you so much for watching, guys. You know, I always appreciate you guys watching and commenting and all your love. I appreciate it so much. And if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and pop some comments down below on your way out. But other than that, I'll see you in my next video. Bye!